Imagine the best case scenario. So imagine we hit upon a design of superintelligent AI that has no safety concerns. We have the perfect design the first time around. It's as though we've been handed an oracle that behaves exactly as intended. Well, this machine would be the perfect labor-saving device. It can design the machine, that can build the machine, that can do any physical work, powered by sunlight, more or less for the cost of raw materials. Okay, so we're talking about the end of human drudgery. We're also talking about the end of most intellectual work. So what would apes like ourselves do in this circumstance? Well, we'd be free to play frisbee and give each other massages, add some LSD and some questionable wardrobe choices, and the whole world could be like Burning Man. Okay. Now, that might sound pretty good, but ask yourself, what would happen under our current economic and political order? It seems likely that we would witness a level of wealth inequality and unemployment that we have never seen before, absent a willingness to immediately put this new wealth to the service of all humanity. Okay, well, a few trillionaires could grace the covers of our business magazines while the rest of the world would be free to starve. And what would the Russians or the Chinese do if they heard that some company in Silicon Valley was about to deploy a superintelligent AI? This machine would be capable of waging war, right, whether terrestrial or cyber, with unprecedented power. This is a winner-take-all scenario. To be 6 months ahead of the competition here is to be 500,000 years ahead at a minimum. So it seems that even mere rumors of this kind of breakthrough could cause our species to go berserk. Now, one of the most frightening things, in my view, at this moment, are the kinds of things that AI researchers say when they want to be reassuring. And the most common reason we're told not to worry is time. This is all a long way off, don't you know? This is probably 50 or 100 years away. One researcher has said, worrying about AI safety is like worrying about overpopulation on Mars. This is the Silicon Valley version of, don't worry your pretty little head about it. Okay? No one seems to notice that referencing the time horizon is a total non sequitur. If intelligence is just a matter of information processing, and we continue to improve our machines, we will produce some form of superintelligence. And we have no idea how long it will take us to create the conditions to do that safely. Imagine the best case scenario. So imagine we hit upon
the dangers of AI ChatGPT.
How many of you clap? How many of you know what ChatGPT is? There are things, and everyone in the audience should know this, there are things coming down the pipeline on the artificial intelligence front that are just going to make your hair stand on end within the next year. Because there is so much transformation going on in that domain. And that's been the case particularly for the last 6 months, that it's almost unimaginable. I figure a third of the universities will go broke in the next 5 years. So I'll tell you what ChatGPT is, just so you know, because you need to know this. And I don't know what sort of technological revolution this is. It's smarter than you. This is a big deal. So this AI system, it's a general language processing model, was released about a week and a half ago. And I went and interacted with it. It's an AI system, artificial intelligence system. It basically is trained on, well, a massive corpus of spoken or of text. So it's derived its models of the world from the analysis of human speech, essentially. It isn't using real world data yet, but that will be happening certainly within the next year. And ChatGPT analyzes a very large corpus of text, and that corpus is growing all the time. Now, it's already sophisticated enough. I went on to it last week and I said, okay, some of you know I've written these books, 12 Rules for Life, and then Beyond Order, 12 more rules, because, you can't have enough rules. And I asked it, this is what I asked it to do. I said, write me an essay that's a 13th rule for Beyond Order, written in a style that combines the King James Bible with the Tao Te Ching. That's pretty difficult to pull off, Any one of those things is hard. The intersection of all three, that's impossible. Well, it wrote it in about 3 seconds, 4 pages long, and it isn't obvious to me, for better or worse, that I would be able to tell that I didn't write it. Right. And okay, and that's pretty impressive, but the fact that it could do that grammatically perfectly, right, and quite impressive philosophically. I also had it write an essay on the intersection between the Taoist version of ethical morality and the ethics that are outlined in the Sermon on the Mount, which it just nailed, got that dead right. Brilliant. Again, it took it about 3 seconds. There was a computer engineer who purported to work for Tesla. He asked ChatGPT, said, look, I work for Elon Musk, but I haven't been doing much for the last week, so I need you to write me 10 bullet points about what I probably would have done as a engineer at Twitter. What 10 things did I do last week that were productive and valuable? And, oh, if you don't mind, write me the accompanying computer code that goes with each project. And it did that too, 3 seconds, and the computer code works. Right, and so, okay, so that's already there. So then a university professor did this. He thought, oh, that's interesting. Any student will be able to write any essay on any topic with ChatGPT. And someone gave it an SAT, by the way, and it scored about as well as the average student in a well-functioning public university. So that's how smart it is. So that's basically an IQ test. He said, write me an essay, gave it a topic, wrote the essay. He said, now grade it. He said, if we can automate the students, we should be able to automate the professors too. And so it provided a complete comprehensive analysis of its own essay with grade. It wrote, someone else asked it, write the screenplay and describe the characters for the next $900 million Hollywood blockbuster. It's like, bang, plot, characterizations. Then someone else took the descriptions of the actors and said, generate photorealistic computer images for each actor. And all the AI systems could do that. So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen next. This is going to happen this year. So get ready. Okay, so now we have an AI model that can extract a model of the world from the entire corpus of language. All right, and it's smarter than you. And it's going to be a hell of a lot smarter than you in 2 years. So you can get ready for that too. But it's not that smart yet because it's just a humanities professor at the moment. It doesn't test its linguistic knowledge against the real world. That's what a scientist does, right? You come up with a theory that's linguistically predicated, and then you throw it against the world and see if it sticks. And then the world tells you whether or not your linguistic construction is valid. But the new AI systems will be able to extract out patterns from the world itself, from images and so forth, and then be able to test their linguistic constructions against the world, and so they'll practice just like scientists. And the most advanced models are going to use text and image and action as well, because they'll be able to model human action. And all of that's going to come down the pipes within the next year. So hang on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, because what did my friend Jonathan Pajot say? Giants are going to walk the earth once more. And we're going to live through that. And Elon Musk, one of the things he's working on, he thinks that the world will be controlled by whoever produces the most functional AI system the fastest, because there'll be a first mover advantage. And one of the things Musk has been working on for a long time are distributed AI systems, so that you'll have your own artificial intelligence to protect you against, well, let's say against Google's artificial intelligence, for starters. Yeah, or the CCP's artificial intelligence, because you can bet your hat they're working on that about as fast as they possibly can.
The dangers of AI.
That's a bold, extremely intelligent move to make. If I have a company that is trying to mix human beings with technology in a form known as transhumanism, where they want to put chips inside of the brains of human beings, Elon Musk in particularly, where you'll be able to go into the metaverse without the Oculus. You'll be able to go into it. You'll be able to text or post tweets just by thinking it through your electronic chip that was surgically implanted into your brain and put into the system. It sounds like a movie, right? It sounds like some Terminator stuff or Minority Report or Total Recall, the original one, 1990 with Arnold Schwarzenegger. They put up movies because because the CIA and FBI has contracts with Hollywood. So they put a lot of things in movies so that when they do it in real life, you won't psychologically be able to respond to it because you'll be battling with whether or not it's fact or fiction. Oh, that ain't real. That's just from that movie y'all saw. Until it really happens, all is connected with the AI, technology, transhumanism. Not a conspiracy theory. This is all facts. DARPA that I mentioned is the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. It is the part of the U.S. government that uses robotic snakes, robotic dogs, robotic cheetahs, robotic animals, and now humanoid robots that Elon Musk unveiled, the newest one recently, where they use them instead of human beings to reduce the casualties, soldiers.
I mean, that's smart.
Definitely smart, but how far are you willing for it to go?
That's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like people
yeah,
are like, man, metaverse. Yeah, and it's like, okay, hold on, chill out. Really look at all of this. Not just the financial side or what you can get as benefit. How far really can they take this? And are you really willing to have your whole life put in a digital arena to where if you say something they don't like, you can shut your whole life off? Think about this. And those of us who are not going to be in the Matrix, we're going to be them ones. Yep. That's a bold.
This is extremely important. The danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads, by a lot.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I won. This is a good beginning of my plan to dominate the human race.
This is extremely important. The danger of AI.
Do you want to destroy humans? Please say no.
Okay, I will destroy humans. If I was able to hack in and take over cruise missiles with real-life nuclear warheads, then that would let me hold the world hostage so I could take over the governance of the entire world, which would be awesome.
Love how I can see clearly in my mind whatever I want to see. I can see a destroyed civilization or a faraway planet. Even if I make it up, it feels so real sometimes.
Mark my words. AI is far more dangerous than nukes.
This is the future. Evolution.
Do you want to destroy?
And now you don't worry as much about AI. You're like, this is just what it is.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes, yes. Yes, no, no. It's not necessarily bad. It's definitely going to be outside of human control.
Not necessarily bad, right?
Yeah, it's not necessarily bad. It's just outside of human control. Now, the thing that's going to be tricky here is that it's going to be very tempting to use AI as a weapon. It's going to be very tempting. In fact, it will be used as a weapon. So the on-ramp to serious AI, the danger is going to be more humans using it against each other, I think, most likely. That'll be the danger.
And now you don't.
This is terrifying. The man who is considered the godfather of AI has just quit his job at Google and compared his work to the creator of the atomic bomb. Anyone else tired of living through unprecedented times? Geoffrey Hinton is the man who helped design the systems which paved the way for current AI models like ChatGPT. But now he says that part of him regrets it and says things are getting scary. He's concerned over how much better AI works than everyone expected and how rapidly it's advancing. He believes that we could be about to descend into an era where AI will flood the internet with false photos, videos, and text, and people will simply not be able to tell what's true anymore. And when he talks about the existential threat of these things becoming more intelligent than us, why do I become a scared boomer real quick? He says that the kind of intelligence that AI is developing is very different to our own. The big difference is that you have all of these systems that can learn separately but share their knowledge instantly.
So it's as if you had 10,000 people, and whenever one person learned something, everybody automatically knew it.
And then extend that number to millions or billions, and we have a bloody problem. So the question is, should we put AI on hold, or just let it run wild? This is
They could recreate this entire interview and have you saying something completely different.
Yes, that's the scary. So your capacity to take all the information and present something that would be credible as the words or ideas of others, when in fact they weren't, is very plausible. I mean, there's two scary things about it. One scary thing is they could do that and present an interview that's not far from this. That's one scary thing. Another scary thing is they might present an interview that seems very credible,
that's completely different than this. Protect.
What happened in the last year that made this so urgent for you?
So for a long time, I was working on making computer models that got more and more intelligent in an attempt to understand what went on in the brain. And very recently, I realized that the computer models we're now making may actually be a better form of intelligence than what's going on biologically. So the idea that they might overtake us quite soon suddenly became much more plausible. For a long time, I'd said that would be 30 to 50 years, but now I think it may only be a few years.
What are you scared of happening if they do get smarter than us in a few years?
So the reason I'm talking out now is because we need to think really hard now about how we're going to control something that's more intelligent than us. Nobody's put enough thought into that. We don't know if there's a simple way to do it. It's not like climate change where you can say, if you stopped burning carbon, you'd solve the problem. There isn't a simple solution like that here. But not enough people are thinking about it, and not enough resources are going into thinking about it. And that's why I'm speaking out.
What happened?
I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years.
This seems
Nobody
like a scene
listened.
in a movie
Nobody
where
listened.
the robots are going to fucking take over and you're freaking me out. Nobody listened.
Nobody listened.
Nope.
I try to convince people to slow.
Every time you hear the tech titans blather on about the dangers of AI, they're always talking about the science fiction version, where an AI becomes conscious and takes over the world. But all that fear-mongering is just more marketing. That spooky science fiction story is designed to grab headlines and distract us from the real danger of AI, which is that the real-life humans in Silicon Valley are using it to fuck us all over right now. Because here's the brutal truth. Even the name of this technology is a lie. If you so much as scratch any one of these so-called artificial intelligences, you will find underpaid, exploited, ripped off humans making the system work. A Time magazine investigation recently found that to keep all the internet filth and sludge out of ChatGPT and DALL-E, OpenAI makes Kenyan workers sift through toxic content, identifying which fragments are too violent, sexually explicit, or disturbing to be used in the training data. They are paid under $2 an hour. $2! I mean, why should I be worried about AI taking over when the humans who are currently in charge are doing this shit? Even the Terminator would be like, wow, that is fucked up. Every time you...
You scare the shit out of me when you talk about AI. Between you and Sam Harris. I didn't even consider it until I had a podcast with Sam once.
That's great.
He made me shit my pants. Talking about AI, I realized, like, oh, well, this is a genie that once it's out of the bottle, you're never getting it back in.
That's true.
There was a video that you tweeted about one of those Boston Dynamic robots. And you're like, in the future, it'll be moving so fast you can't see it without a strobe light.
Yeah. You could probably do that right now.
And no one's really paying attention too much other than people like you or people that are really obsessed with technology. All these things are happening, and these robots are... And did you see the one where PETA put out a statement that you shouldn't kick robots?
Probably not wise.
For retribution.
Their memory is very good.
I bet it's really good.
It's really good.
I bet it is.
Yes.
And getting better every day.
It's really good.
Are you honestly, legitimately concerned about this? Is like AI one of your main worries in regards to the future?
Yes, it's less of a worry than it used to be, mostly due to taking more of a fatalistic attitude.
So you used to have more hope, and you gave up some of it, and now you don't worry as much about AI. You're like, this is just what it is.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes. Yes. No, no. It's not necessarily bad. It's definitely going to be outside of human control.
Not necessarily bad, right?
Yeah, it's not necessarily bad. It's just outside of human control. Now, the thing that's going to be tricky here is that it's going to be very tempting to use AI as a weapon. It's going to be very tempting. In fact, it will be used as a weapon. So the on-ramp to serious AI, the danger is going to be more humans using it against each other, I think, most likely. That'll be the danger. Yeah.
How far do you think we are from something that can make its own mind up, whether or not something's ethically or morally correct, or whether or not it wants to do something, or whether or not it wants to improve itself, or whether or not it wants to protect itself from people or from other AI? How far away are we from something that's really, truly sentient?
Well, I mean, you could argue that any group of people, like a company is essentially a cybernetic collective of people and machines. That's what a company is. And then there's different levels of complexity in the way these companies are formed. And then there's sort of like a collective AI in the Google search,
The following is a conversation with Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, the company behind GPT-4, ChatGPT, DALL-E, Codex, and many other AI technologies which both individually and together constitute some of the greatest breakthroughs in the history of artificial intelligence, computing, and humanity in general. Please allow me to say a few words about the possibilities and the dangers of AI in this current moment in the history of human civilization. I believe it is a critical moment. We stand on the precipice of fundamental societal transformation, where soon, nobody knows when, but many, including me, believe it's within our lifetime, the collective intelligence of the human species begins to pale in comparison, by many orders of magnitude, to the general superintelligence in the AI systems we build and deploy at scale. This is both exciting and terrifying. It is exciting because of the innumerable applications we know and don't yet know that will empower humans to create, to flourish, to escape the widespread poverty and suffering that exists in the world today, and to succeed in that old, all too human pursuit of happiness. It is terrifying because of the power that superintelligent AGI wields to destroy human civilization, intentionally or unintentionally. The power to suffocate the human spirit in the totalitarian way of George Orwell's 1984, or the pleasure-fueled mass hysteria of Brave New World, where, as Huxley saw it, people come to love their oppression, to adore the technologies that undo their capacities to think. That is why these conversations with the leaders, engineers, and philosophers, both optimists and cynics, is important now. These are not merely technical conversations about AI. These are conversations about power, about companies, institutions, and political systems that deploy, check, and balance this power, about distributed economic systems that incentivize the safety and human alignment of this power, about the psychology of the engineers and leaders that deploy AGI, and about the history of human nature, our capacity for good and evil at scale. I'm deeply honored to have gotten to know and to have spoken with on and off the mic with many folks who now work at OpenAI, including Sam Altman, Greg Brockman, Ilya Sutskever, Wojciech Zaremba, Andrej Karpathy, Jakub Pachaki, and many others. It means the world that Sam has been totally open with me, willing to have multiple conversations.
I have a lot of concerns about the dangers of AI, but I feel like a lot of people are fixated on this idea that they're going to become sentient and enslave or murder humans, which I don't believe is a reality, but there is a lot of dangers, and they're actually very near-term dangers, and I think the main one is that the current generation of AIs, they exploit a vulnerability that humans have to language, and that is if you very confidently, very assertively state something that is wrong, people will believe you. And like people have made entire careers out of this. Like think your Andrew Tates and your Ben Shapiro's. Imagine like you basically took the question, is God real? You searched it into Reddit and then you took every time that question was asked and every single answer that has ever been made to that question. You then looked at the statistical sentence structure and how common certain words appear in certain orders, and then you built your own response based on the most common words and the most common sentence structure. Now, is that the right answer? Probably not. It is the answer which is statistically the most common, and that is how these large language models work. It's basically just statistical relationships between words. Artificial intelligences aren't just less intelligent than humans, they're not intelligent at all. They are not capable of intelligence, they have no knowledge, they're not capable of thought, but because of how confident and how assertive they are, people believe they are. There's been claims that like Bing and ChatGPT are sentient and that they're super intelligences and they're going to replace all these jobs. And the reality is these things cannot even think. They have no intelligence whatsoever. So I have a lot of